Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Beyond the Beret, where we find dudes that's done amazing things. We share their stories with you in hope of inspiring you, the next generation, right? Today, I got Johnny Glenn from 3rd Battalion, right? His hat looks a little bit more worn out than mine, you know what I mean? So I know there's a story behind that. But, guys, I hope you guys enjoy this one. Fellow third grouper, Johnny, if you don't mind, just tell the folks about who you are, where you come from, what you've done, and then we'll jump right into your story.
Yes, sir. Hey, everybody. Glad to be here, bro. Thanks for having me. It's an honor.
Definitely.
Retired at 3rd Special Forces Group. Got there in 1999. Did how many years that is? 2018.
Yeah. Okay.
And basically just grew up in 3rd Group, man. Started out in 3rd Battalion. Went to 1st Battalion and just had a blast, man. It was a good time.
Yeah, that's amazing, man.
Yes,
and that happens a lot of time where if guys get promoted, they'll switch them from one battalion to another,
Yep.
just to give them like a fresh look. But where did it all start for you? You said you're from Georgia. How was upbringing for you?
I grew up in a little small town, man. It's called Bainbridge, Georgia. So all my Bainbridge people out there, hey, got to send a shout out.
Yeah.
And Bainbridge is Southwest Georgia. And then you go even a little smaller than that. I grew up on a little farm in Cyrene, Georgia.
Yeah.
And we lived on Glenville Road. And basically it was just all Glens that lived on that road. And I grew up in a little small town, just a little country boy on a farm.
Yeah.
We had cows, horses, goats, chickens,
Yeah.
just a small farm. And my father and my uncle, they grew peanuts, soybeans, corn, stuff like that. So I grew up just working in the fields, man, just being a country boy.
Gotcha. How was upbringing? Growing up in a farm, did you have like structure, like as far as, hey, you wake up at 4 in the morning, you have to do certain tasks before you go to school? Because I know with farm living, that's a thing.
Yeah, we had some structure, not really,
Yeah.
though, because my mom and dad, they really stressed,
Yeah.
like education. So,
Yeah.
but as far as like structure, man, during the summertime out of school, you're working, bro. And that
Yeah.
sun come up, you're trying to get out there before it gets too hot. So
Yeah.
you're up, whether you were baling hay, whether you were just doing, common chores around the house. But for the most part, man, you just get up throughout the day and whatever you had going on that day, that's what you did. So during the planting season, you're working hard, man, for that month or so.
Yeah.
Getting the soil ready, getting the dirt turned over and then planting. But once planting season's done, you kind of step back a little bit. Now you're working more on cows.
Gotcha.
So we had a ton of hogs, so we were constantly cutting hogs and castrating them, cutting them, cutting their tails, stamping them, putting them in feeding lots, getting them ready, for the market. So
Gotcha. Now, when we were talking earlier, you mentioned that you grew up playing sports.
Yes, sir.
Was it high school, college?
Yeah, so
How was that?
I played pretty much every sport I could in
Yeah.
high school because for me, that was the way to get out of work. Because in
Yeah.
sports season, you had to go to practice.
Yeah.
My dad loved sports. My mom loved sports. So I played football, basketball, baseball, kickball, tennis. Dude, if it was a ball, I played. I ran track one year, but
Yeah.
track wasn't my thing. I was like, no, I don't know run it.
Gotcha.
So, but other than that, man, I played all the sports. And then once I graduated, I wanted to go play, some sport in college, but I realized, family couldn't afford college, so I ended up joining the military. And I did play the Fayetteville, had that old Fayetteville Guard team. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah.
They had the semi-pro football team. So I played probably one summer, not the whole summer with those guys. And what ended up happening was Sergeant Mason found out I was playing football when I was going through the Q course. He's like, hey, man, you don't get paid to play football. You might get hurt. And he's like, hey, them pads, you need to go turn them in.
Yeah.
So I went and turned them in that next day. And I was like, all right, I'm done with this.
Yeah. What position did you play?
I played basically outside linebacker, willing linebacker back in the day. Then a little bit of corner, a little bit of safety. So
I gotcha.
anywhere I can go and hit somebody, man. You mean just run wide open, run into somebody? I can do that.
Now, you mentioned that instead of going to college, you decided to join the military. That seems to be like a common thing within, our culture, right? You can't afford college, so you either join the military or find another way.
Right.
So was that the main reason why you joined the military, or?
Yeah, kind of, sort of. Well, I started out, I will say, when I was about 12, 13 years old. I remember we used to play, Cowboys and Indians. Everybody played it. And then I saw the movie Rambo.
I get to
I saw the
everybody.
movie Rambo, man. I was like, man, I think I want to do that.
Yeah.
Because I've always had a gun in my hand or in the woods or, hunting, fishing, something. And so my brother, well, he's my cousin, but I call him my brother Nathaniel, he joined the military first. And then our cousin Terry joined. My Uncle Nick was in the military. So I had a lot of family that had been in the military.
Okay.
But I remember my brother came home one time. He had a Nissan Sentra. I remember he came home and he took me out to eat or something. And I was like, man, this cat got money. He got a car. I was like, man, that's pretty cool right there.
Yeah.
So he kind of set that stage for me. He's like, hey, you can do this, you can do that, And then he actually got stationed at Fort Bragg. So my last year high school after I graduated, I came up and stayed with him for a couple months. And he was in the 82nd. I was like, you know what? I'm joining the military.
That's awesome.
And that's it, man. I just kind of
Nice.
went in the military.
Now, did you and your mom and dad have that conversation initially, or did you make that decision yourself and just kind of went for it?
We didn't, man. I actually did the split out. I did the same. I've walked the same path my brother did.
Yeah.
He did a split out program where you go your junior year of high school to basic training, then you come back your senior year of high school and finish up AIT, and then you go, if you go regular Army or National Guard or whatever.
Gotcha.
So I did the split out program. Didn't tell my parents, and I remember the recruiter, tall recruiter. I can't remember what his name was. He came by the house that morning. And dude, my dad was livid because my dad was like, I want you to, go to college.
Yeah.
But I knew my parents couldn't afford it. But he would have done everything he could to try to figure it out. But I was like, nah, man, I think I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And so I went and did the split out program and went to base training, came back with the IT. And
And I think that's just a fatherly instinct to want the best for your kids, to want to protect them, right? Yep. Now, what year was this?
This is I did the split out program in 1994.
1994.
Graduated in 95.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Now, how was speaking with that recruiter? Did you already know what you wanted to be in the Army, or was that?
I didn't, bro. Honestly, man, I'll tell you what I was doing. I was down at Florida State taking the SAT. I don't know if you get it. One Saturday morning, I was taking the SAT, and we were sitting in the woman open the window because it's hot in the classroom, and we're taking the SAT, and we just started probably 20 minutes into it. And I've never been a classroom guy, man. Just like an indoors guy, it's not my thing. And I hear a basketball bouncing. I could hear it.
Yeah.
We were right next to like a park. I hear this basketball bouncing. It's bouncing. I was like, all right, dude, I'm out of here. I can't do this. And I got up and the lady goes, sir. She's trying to be quiet. She's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm done. And I walked down the stairs. I remember I walked out, and when I walked out, I just walked down and started walking down the street. I was headed back to my car, and they had a recruiting station right there in one of the little plazas, little shopping plazas. I walked in. I was like, whoever's there, that's where I'm going. I walked in. Marine Corps guy was gone. Air Force guy was gone. Only guy I knew was an Army guy.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, can I help? I was like, yeah, I'm thinking about joining the military. He's like, hey, you came to the right place. And then he showed me the video. And he's like, I was like, you gonna pick me to do that? And there's a video where they was jumping out of planes. And they were,
Was it Be All You Can Be?
Yeah, it was like a Be All You Can Be video. I think that was it, Be All You Can Be.
Yeah.
And at that point, dude, I was like, yeah, that's a wrap. I'm done. So.
That's awesome, man.
Yep.
Yeah. What MOS did you end up enlisting as?
So when I first came in, they had me as a 94 Bravo / 11 Bravo because I did a split out thing.
Gotcha.
So, and then I came in like that, man.
That's what's up, man.
Yep.
That's what's up. Now, being from Georgia, growing up on a farm, how was basic training for you? How was that experience?
For me, man, I'll be honest, dude. I'll be honest. My whole military career, bro, has always been because I'm a naturally fit guy.
Yeah.
So the military, they didn't teach me how to run. They just taught me to sing cadences.
Yeah.
They didn't teach me a whole lot when it came to like physical fitness because I've always been in great shape. But basic training was easy to me, man. I won't ever forget. I got in not a lot of trouble at basic training, but I was always getting smoked in basic training because drill sergeant would be like, "Why are you smiling?" I'm like, "I'm smiling."
I'm a happy dude.
And I had a big drill sergeant named Drill Sergeant Simmons. I won't ever forget it. This was an AIT though, and he was like, he's like Glenn. He had a real dark voice, big black. He was huge. He said, "I'm about to smoke you." And I remember I got down and said, "You can't smoke a rock, Drill Sergeant." Dude, an hour and a half later, I was drenched, just drenched in sweat. I was like, "Yeah, I might shouldn't have said nothing, dude." And after that,
you can't smoke a rock, but you can drown him.
Anyway, he told me, he said, "I can't smoke it, but I can definitely lock some chips off of it." And bro, that cat went this smoking. Dude, it was flutter kicks, push-ups, sit-ups. He had me doing stuff I never heard of, bro. Like cherry pickers, just like, I'm like, how do you do that? He said, "I'll show you." And this guy was real muscular, man.
Yeah.
So the whole base training part, dude, it was a breeze, man. It was fun for me.
Yeah.
It was always fun for me because I always like to, how do I challenge my body? How do I push it farther than, what normal people would? So.
Yeah. Where was basic training for you?
I did it at Fort Jackson.
Fort Jackson.
Yep.
Basic NAIT?
Yeah, basic NAIT right there, Fort Jackson.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Where'd you ended up going after basic NAIT?
So after basic AIT, I went straight to Fort Lewis, Washington.
Fort Lewis.
Yep.
Oh
Fort
man,
Lewis,
we had Mike Clark over here the other day, and he was stationed up at Fort Lewis.
Yeah, we talk about Lewis all the time. Yeah. Mike got people.
So you went to Fort Lewis. How was your experience with your unit, and how did that go, and how did you discover SOF, right?
So once I got to my unit, man, everything was good. You know what I mean? Like, it was great. I remember we would go running.
Yeah.
And once we go running, range battalion up. And those guys always run by us, like, running wide open. And I couldn't stand it. I'm like, dude, why are we letting these guys run by us like we're nobodies?
Yeah.
And one day I looked at my squad, like, hey, dude, why are we letting them do that? He said, well, there they go get them, John. He said, go get them, bro. Too easy, bro. So I ran and caught up with him. And I ran with him the whole time. We ran for like 45 minutes. And when they got done, the squad was like, hey, who are you? I was like, I'm Private Glenn down at 520th Infantry. He was like, all right, cool. Well, they came down there. Sergeant Major came down, my sergeant major, And what they was trying to do was get like a unit to unit transfer or whatever they called it. So I was going to go to their unit. And I was like, hey, this would be awesome. I'm going to Range Battalion. At the time, they didn't know nothing about nothing. So I was like, all right, dude, I'll go down there. Those guys in great shape. They run a lot. I'm down with that. And so they messed around, started paperwork, couldn't do it. Then we went to JRTC for 30 days. Came back from JRTC, and I was on staff duty or something. I was a runner. And I remember looking at the board. It was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Or it might have been lunchtime, I can't remember. But I was looking at the board, and back then they had the old Green Beret on the poster. It says, do you have what it takes? And a phone number. That's all I had.
Yeah.
So I'm just staring at it. Literally, I'm like, do you have what it takes? I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't know what it is, but I know I got it. That's what I'm saying to myself. So my commander, Jeffrey Butler, he steps on. He goes, Private, go in. I said, yes, sir. He goes, you think you got what it takes? I looked at him because I just thought about it. I said, I don't even know what the fuck it is, sir, but I know I got it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I said to him, dude. I'm just like a little, I think I was just turned 19.
Yeah.
At the time, 19-year-old kid. He goes, then you need to go do it. I said, all right, sir, well, how do you do it? He's called a number. He said, I think you'll be decent at it. I said, roger that, sir. So I called a recruiter, went to go see the recruiter, and went to go see him. I was a PFC, and at that time, you had to be a Spec 4
to go
in the military to go.
Yeah.
And so I went back and I told my commander, I was like, hey, sir, they told me I got to be an E4 to go, da-da-da. He's probably Glenn, before I leave here, you will be an E4. I said, roger that, sir.
That's amazing, man.
And
yeah.
And probably maybe 4 months after that, bro, he got orders to go to D.C., which he wasn't supposed to, but he got orders to go to the Pentagon for something. And he squared away. His name was Jeffrey Butler.
Yeah. He made sure he wasn't E4 before he left.
Dude, look, he promoted me with a waiver, man. He sure did.
Oh, that's
and the day
amazing.
he promoted me, I made E4 in 16 months.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
He told me, he said, hey, I held up my end of the bargain. Now you hold up yours. I won't ever get it the day he promoted me. I said, roger that, sir. That next week, bro, I was down there signing paperwork and starting my physical to go to selection.
That's amazing. Now, with the so when you caught up with the Rangers and you spoke to that squad leader, were they trying to get you into their unit because of that specific incident, or was there a different program going on?
No, I think it was just that specific incident.
Yeah.
He was just like, man, who is this guy? You know, like, hey, he's just gonna run up with us, like.
Yeah.
And he was like, all right. So I think he's just like, man, I want this kid. I was young, dude, and at the time, Rangers, as long as you wide open, loud, and can run in great shape, we'll take you. Like, he's a dumb Ranger, we'll take him. So,
oh, that's amazing, man. Yeah.
And so but they couldn't get the unit transfer or whatever it was. I can't remember how it went down or whatever. Or Sergeant Major wouldn't let me go or something like that. I can't remember.
That's amazing, man. Because even at an early age, you were like, the fact that you were willing to go get it started to open doors for you.
But I've always been a competitor, dude. Like I tell people, if you ain't competing, what
are you doing?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Even my ex used to always say, "It's not a competition." I'm like, "The hell it ain't."
Yeah.
Life's a competition. You got to get out there and get it.
Yeah. And I like, because that's the same mindset that I have. Even, dude, the simplest thing, like date night. It's like it's a competition because I'm competing against the next dude, that might step up and try to take my wife because he's better at dating. So it's like it's always stepping up to the plate. Yeah. Date night, hanging out with my kids. I want to make sure they have the best experience because, again, it's all a competition, right?
It is.
So you got signed up for selection. So talk me through the prep that took place from the minute that you signed your contract to when you hit selection, like the physical, the mental, and all of that.
So for me, the physical part, like I said earlier, it wasn't hard physically. So I remember I would put my ruck on probably 2-3 times a week. Yeah. And I would put 70 pounds in my ruck because I think at the time it was 45 pounds, maybe 50, or whatever it was at the time in selection. So I put 70 pounds in it, and I would just walk the airfield at Lewis. And what I would do is I would walk the airfield midday because I knew I'm not a cold weather guy. I'm tropical. I like to be hot. Yeah. The hotter the better because I grew up in South Georgia. So I would walk that airfield. And I remember my commander, same guy, Jeffrey Butler, would be like, you training, Glenn? Roger that, sir. And for lunch, 11 o'clock, 11:30, I'd go step out and walk the airfield. It'd be hot. Amazing. I'd go walk the airfield, bro. And a lot of people, when they saw that, I just made E4, people was just like, man, this kid, like, what is he doing? Yeah. And even as a PFC, I would do that, dude. I remember I'd go out on Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I wasn't a big party. I was a country boy, so I didn't know nothing about, like, the city life, the street life, because I just didn't have that. So for me, Saturday morning, I would get up, dude. I would go ruck, and my buddies would be drunk, hungover. I'd go ruck. I'd go run.
So what made you do that though? Because I'm sitting here thinking, as a PFC, I was partying my butt off.
Bro, that was just it though, man. Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, I would go out with my buddies. Sometimes we would go to Seattle to the club, but it just wasn't my scene, man. I would go hang out with my buddies, like I'll go hang out with the guys, and it was just not my thing, man. Then I met 2 other guys that was good friends of mine, like actually my best friends, Don Blake and Rashawn Harrison. And bro, I remember like on the weekends, Fridays and Saturdays, Don had a girlfriend, Rail, like she's like my sister. He was committed to Rail, and Rashawn was married. So those guys, man, they didn't do much either. So we would literally go to I remember we had the MWR room. We would go down there. We would walk up the street and shoot pool, man, on Saturday and Sunday all day long. Yeah. And it was a competition, like who could win, who could take the most wins. Then we would go bowl. And then after that, dude, if I wasn't playing pool with those guys at bowling, I was working out, dude. Yeah. And that was just, my thing was just like putting the body through, I'm going to go work out, out. And then I would go to the gym and play basketball. Dude, I literally lived in that gym. I think it was Soldier's Fieldhouse. I think that was the name of it. But I would walk to the gym from the barracks or jog, because I didn't have a car at the time. I would walk to the barracks to the gym. I would stay in that gym from, say, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning to 8, 9 o'clock at night, man.
That's amazing.
I would play basketball all day, drink water. I'd run to the chow hall, get me some food, right back to I'd walk my room, watch a little TV, back to the gym, work out. Yeah. And then guys would start showing up in the afternoon to play basketball, and I'd play basketball.
That's amazing.
And that was my thing, man. Yeah.
So now the physical aspect you got, leading up to selection, did you do anything for like mental prep or any of that? Did you know what to expect?
Honestly, bro, I got to be honest. I had no clue what a Green Beret was. Yeah. I had no clue what I was getting myself into. All that I knew was the recruiter's like, hey, it's going to be demanding on your body physically. Yeah.
So you just trained the body then?
Yeah, I just literally just worked out, man. Okay. Everybody talked about, your feet going to be bad. And I was like, dude, my whole military career, I've never got a hot spot. I never had a blister. Yeah. No, I got one hot spot. I never had a blister. Yeah. So for me, it was like, I wanted my feet wet and cool. And guys were like, why are you putting water in your boots? I'm like, so my feet don't get hot. And they're like, man, this dude's crazy. Because, guys in selection, the deal. Guys' feet were tore up, dude. My feet never tore up, man. Yeah. So for me, the mental aspect, I didn't know what I was getting into, so I didn't know. Yeah. So basically, I didn't do nothing mentally, dude. All I knew was, all right, I'm going to this thing to go do some training. Yeah. And that's all I knew, man. Yeah. So knowing that you were, so you didn't do any research at all? Google, was that even a thing? No, so you have Google back then. Google wasn't a thing back then. That's
because First Group was also there. Did you see any Green Berets?
I saw them walking around. Like when I went to go talk to the recruiter, they had a recruiter over at First Group. Yeah. So I walked by them, dude, but I saw the berets. I didn't know what the hell they were. Gotcha. Man, who are these guys? And I saw guys working. I was like, man, these guys are working out. First thing I thought about was, man, these guys got to be like the Ranger guys. Because you always heard Rangers. Just like you hear SEALs. Yeah. But Green Beret, you didn't hear really nothing about the professionals.
Gotcha.
Just, Green Berets. I didn't know.
Yeah. Let's talk about selection then. And when I speak about selection, I like to dissect it into 2 separate parts, right? Admin week, which is, the first week where you do all your physical stuff. Then you have Lit Nav, and then you have team week. Yep. How was admin week for you whenever you went?
It was good. You know what I mean? I thought it was good. I thought it was great, actually, because we were doing a lot of rucking, a lot of running. Yeah. And
like you're in your environment at that point.
And at that point, dude, I'm like, man, this is where I need to be. Yeah. And I remember we had this big dude there. I called him the Machine, dude. Yeah. He's about 6'3", 6'4", big white guy. Yeah. I don't know his name. I wish I knew him. His roster number, I was 121. I think his roster number was 77.
Still remember it, huh?
That boy was a beast, man. Because every time I was out front, either first or second at everything. Yeah. Every time I looked around, man, out here, and it was him. I'm like, man, this cat, man, he just won't go away, And then a couple runs, he beat me on, I'd be pissed. And then a couple rucks, he beat me on, I was pissed. I'm like, man, this dude's a stud. Because I always consider myself a stud. I'm like, this dude's a stud. And he's a big boy. So it was like, nah, he ain't going to keep up. Yeah. He lasts the whole way. And so for me, the first admin week was the best part of it because you start losing people. Mm-hmm. And now, it's sad to say it, but I'm feeding off of that. I'm like, man, I don't know what the end of this thing is, but I know I'm going to be at it. And these guys are falling out left and right. Yeah, that was extra motivation. So it was extra motivation. I'm like, dude, as long as I don't get hurt. Because, I see guys break their legs, break their ankles, tear their backs out, tear a muscle, and they're on the truck. Or they volunteer, they VW and they volunteer on withdrawal, and they getting out of there. So I'm like, man, I just don't need to get hurt. Yeah. And so.
Now, do you remember how many folks you started selection with?
We started selection with 372 people.
372, all right.
We graduated with 88.
Gotcha.
And 68 got selected.
Damn. Yeah, because I always joke the first week you can prep for, right? Yeah. Because on this channel, I help guys get ready for selection, prep. And they always, send me emails and Instagram posts about, hey, what do I need to do to prepare? And I tell them, dude, it's like going to college, right? Yeah. And the professor tells you what's going to be on the test. She literally gives you, an answer sheet. Hey, you need to study these questions. Right. And this is the answer, right? And I'm like, as a college student, what are you going to do? You're going to study that, and you're going to study, hey, question number 1 is B. You're going to study it. It's the same concept. You're going to selection. You know you're going to do rucks. You know you're going to run. You know you're going to take an ACFT.
Yep.
Like, you know you're going to do land nav. So what do you need to do?
You need to work on those things.
Yeah.
That's simple.
Yeah. Now, week 2, how was that for you? Because that's land nav.
Week 2 was pretty. I like week 2 just because the land nav. I wasn't as strong as land nav as I wanted to be because I didn't have nobody teaching me and showing me how to do it.
Yeah.
But growing up in the country, you learn.
Yeah.
Your cardinal directions. You learn. I'm headed north. I'm headed south. And so they gave some great classes when I went through selection. Land nav classes. Yeah. And so basically, what I did was I got one of the guys there. He's a land nav guy, and he just showed me like, hey, dude, here's a point. Draw a line, put it in your compass, and walk it. Yeah. Don't try to do no dead reckoning. Don't try to do terrain association because I didn't know how to do it at the time. Yeah. And I did exactly what he told me. And then what I did was I just ran the whole way. Yeah. Like, hey, I'm gonna run, buy myself time. That way, if I do get lost, you have time to recover. I have time to recover. Yep. And that's exactly what I did, man.
Yeah. I did the same thing because I grew up in New York City, so I didn't grow up in the woods navigating. Yeah. Like the only land nav training I had was when I was stationed in Fort Riley, Kansas. Gotcha. But when I went to selection, I was 25, and I was in the best shape of my life. So whenever I hit the land nav course, like I would just run the entire thing. And when I did get lost, I had a backstop to where I just ran the entire thing. And if I did get lost, I had enough time to self-correct. As opposed to walking and losing on time. And if I get lost, I'm out of time at that point. Yep. You know what I mean? So that's a good strategy.
So for guys, and I know what you're doing for your show to help guys with selection. I would say this too, man, which I'll come do it if you want. Do you ever go work out with some of these guys, send you emails about getting training in? Let me know, dude. I'll come do it with you, bro. I think it'd be awesome, man.
Oh, definitely.
Let's get some guys together. They want to go on a ruck on a run. Yeah. We'll link up with them somewhere on Bragg or somewhere around and just go show them some tricks of the trade. I'm down with it.
Yeah, that's an awesome idea. Like OJT essentially.
I just thought about OJT plus keeps us in shape, dude. Do like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like a pre-selection. Guys are going. We know they're going.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Let me know, man. I'll do it. I just thought about it when you said you didn't know how to land that. I didn't know how to land that. Yeah. And then when I went through selection, they had a strong swimmers course too. Yeah. That I think they still do it. But they had a strong swimmers course for guys that couldn't swim or wasn't strong swimmers. So, but yeah, dude, we can help guys out, man. I just thought about when you just said that. So let's. Yeah,
that's an awesome idea.
That'd be awesome, man.
Yeah, we'll get together and because I know there's a bunch of guys here on Bragg that I'm currently speaking with. Okay. So I can always put that out and see if there's any interest, and if there is, then I'll reach out to you.
We'll stay in shape, man.
Yeah, I don't run like I used to, but I can.
We can keep up. We can keep up.
Now, moving on to Team Week, how was that for you, man?
Team Week was good for me. I like Team Week, but I didn't like Team Week because I got put on. Dude, it was terrible. I'm 5'9". Everybody on my team was 6'3" or taller. Yeah. Everybody. So every time we carried anything, I always had to. I felt like I had all the weight. I had all the weight. I'm like, dude, I'm carrying everything right now. At least that's what it felt like. Yeah. And so after Team Week, it's like, God, man, it's like, this is crazy, man. Like my whole right side is just like tore up. Yeah. Left side was strong. Right side was just banged up from putting all the weight on it. Yeah. But other than that, Team Week was good. I like Team Week just because you're working as a team. But what I noticed during Team Week is you still had the individuals. Yeah. I mean, even though we're a team trying to get it done, you still had individuals that were, like, all right, I'm doing this, doing that. It's like, come on, man. Like, we're a team. Let's work as a team. But, it is what it is. Yeah.
So you went through, you got towards the end. What happened then?
So once I got towards the end, which a lot of people don't know, I didn't know that at the time, but I was a 21-day non-select. Okay. This was in June or July. But I was a 21-day non-select. I had no clue what a 21-day non-select was. Like I said, at this point, dude, I still don't know what a Green Beret is. All I know is I'm here and I'm beating my body up and I'm doing all this training. Man, this is awesome. We're losing guys I'm motivated by. So we had to go to a board, and I'm sitting there. I think it's like 15 dudes went to a board. I think I was like the second guy they called into the board because I was the youngest guy there. Yeah. So I walk into the board, and I remember I saluted, and they tell you what to say. You go in and salute the board, tell them your roster number, and tell them you're reporting to the board. So I walked in and saluted, hey, roster number, I'm reporting to the president of the board. And then they were like, all right, relax. And they were like, hey, do you know why you're here? I was like, no, sir, I don't. And then they were like, hey, they had all my, use records and stuff like that. Yeah. And then one of the commanders read off. He was like, hey, you're in great physical shape. You're in the top 2% of runs and rucks. He goes, but at this point, you're not really what we're looking for. What we'd like for you to do is go back and get more experience. I was like, roger that, sir.
Because you got to figure, how old are you at this point?
I'm 19 years old, bro. I'm 19 years old. Yeah.
Now, looking back at that, what do you think about what that commander said? Having
back,
been to the regiment and seeing what...
Looking back what he said, though, but for me, though, being 19 years old, 19 to me was just an age, because you grow up on a farm, you get responsibility real fast.
Yeah.
So your average 19-year-old, like you said, was out partying and stuff. Yeah. While I'm at home, while I'm in the barracks room doing... I did a lot of correspondence courses. Because I wanted to, when I first joined the Army, my goal, I wanted to be Sergeant Major of the Army. I just thought that'd be a cool thing to do. Yeah. So I was doing all kind of correspondence courses, reading stuff. I wanted to be a drill sergeant and Sergeant Major of the Army. Yeah. So, dude, by the time I was a PFC making E4, I knew every drill command in the DNC book. Everyone was memorized. Yeah. Because that's what I wanted to do. I thought drill sergeants was cool because they train, they seem like they're in great shape. Yeah. But anyways, 19 years old. Thinking back now, I'm like, yeah, they had a good point until I went back. They gave me a certificate that said I passed the land navigation course. Yeah. So I go back and I'm like, my commander's like, hey, how'd it go? Because he's getting ready to go to DC. I go, sir, he told me I could come back, and they gave me a certificate. He looked at it, he's like, Johnny, that's awesome, you should go back. I'm like, roger that. Yeah. And so I remember I was laying in the bed, or laying in the barracks, and my ex showed up at the barracks, and I was like, she's like, how was it? I was like, I don't know, they told me I was 21-day non-select. And then I said, but they said I can come back. And she's like, well, go back. I was like, you know what, I will. Yeah. I went back to the next class in September.
Now, did you do any research at this point to figure out what you were getting yourself into?
Research. All I know is I had a good time. I was 21-day non-select, and I just went through some of the best physical training in my life. I'm going back.
Yeah. So selection ended in July. Yep. You took August off and then went back September. Or was there not a class in August?
Yeah, it wasn't a class in August, so they had July. The class ended either end of June. I think it was like the end of June or July 1st, because the 4-day weekend was 4th of July weekend. So I knew we were back I was back in Lewis on 4th of July. So it had to end either end of August or like that first day in September or something.
So you literally went back the next class.
I went back next class, yeah.
Yeah. Did you recover at all? Was the body still...
Man, my body, 2 days later, bro, I was fine, man. When I got home, all I had to do was get upright, because I kind of leaned to the right from all the weight 15 week. But, the last couple of days when I graduated selection, you stayed at Camp McCall for a day. Then you went back to Bragg and you out processed. That took 2 or 3 days. Yeah. Then once you out processed, then you left to go back to your duty station.
Damn.
And some guys took, like, back when I went, you got 40, I think it was either 30 or 45 days convalescent leave. I think it was 45 days. Yeah. Because dude be broke, man, their feet was jacked up. But I got back to Lewis, man, I didn't do nothing, man. There was like convalescent leave, I didn't even know what it was. Actually, I went back and worked. Yeah. Because we had something going on. I can't remember what, we were getting ready to go do some, like, big thing that the unit would do every year. Yeah. And so I was helping guys load out and stuff like right there. And they're like, hey, you're on convalescent leave. I'm like, I don't even know what that means. Yeah. They're like, hey, let your body heal, da-da-da. I was like, I'm going to play selection. So I went and talked to a recruiter. He's like, when you want to go back? I was like, I'll let it go back next class. He's like, you sure? I was like, yeah. He's like, how's your body? I was like, I'm fine. Yeah. He was like...
Dude, that's an anomaly. After selection, dude, my body was fucked.
Yeah, and most people worry, but most people, it's their feet. Yeah. But see, bro, my kids joke with me. I got ugly feet, bro. I got some bunions, but I tell you, I got ugly feet, but I don't get no blisters. Yeah. I'll take my ugly feet any day of the week, but it's just them country feet, man. So I didn't have no blisters, bro. I didn't get not one blister. Yeah. So.
How was the second time around for you?
Second time around, what I did was, I actually talked to a guy that was over at first group. I went to go talk to the recruiter, and he goes, "Hey, I was walking out of the recruiter office, and he was an Asian kid. He goes, "Hey, you going to selection?" I was like, "Yeah, I am." I said, "I just got back actually." Like, really? He said, "Yeah, how'd it go?" I said, "I was a 21-day non-select." And he goes, "Hey, when you go this time, man, be the gray man." Yeah. Like, what do you mean? He's like, "Just be the gray man, dude. Get in the middle of the pack, just be the gray man." I was like,
so instead of being first and second and everything,
he told me to be the gray man, and dude, that was the best advice I ever got. But it was hard, though. I ain't gonna lie, dude. It was real hard because
you're holding back.
Yeah, because the first run we did, I actually did. I took off. Yeah. And I was like, oh, man, I need to be a gray man. So I ran that first run. I think it's like a 6-mile run. I blew it out. I got done, dude. I'm just sitting there waiting. Yeah. All right, here come the next guy. And I saw that 2 of the instructors over there talking, whispering. They try to make everything simple. And he's writing in his clipboard. I'm like, oh, man, I messed up. Yeah. I said, man, I was supposed to be a gray man. So after that, I became a gray man. And then, I just held back, and then on one of the runs, I remember one of the cadre go, "Hey, I think you're holding back, roster number." I can't remember what my second roster number was.
Because they already know how fast you were at that point.
How fast I was, because I kind of screwed myself. So then I just got in the middle of the pack, dude. And then as guys start falling out, they just didn't even notice me. Yeah. Just stayed in the middle of the pack.
Now, having been to group, serving at the highest level, why do you think that being the gray man works so good as far as, selection and the
I
type of
think
guy
it
that they're
works.
looking for?
Well, what I would tell guys is, if you're that gray man, one, you're that quiet professional.
Mm-hmm.
And two, the way I look at it, it's like some of our military brethren.
Yeah.
I'll say SEALs, for instance.
Yeah.
We don't have to pump our chest and say, look
Yeah.
how hard I am. Look at what I can do.
Yeah.
Hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. I don't need people to do that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You mean my actions going to speak for what I did. But when
Yeah.
I was 19, all I knew was, hey, I'm running.
Yeah.
All I knew was, hey, I'm rucking. So when somebody told me to be the gray man, I didn't know what a gray man was.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, hey, dude, you know you're probably in better shape than anybody here.
Yeah.
But why do you have to prove that?
Exactly. Yeah.
If it arises where I got to show guys, hey, dude, I got to ruck, I got to go 10 miles in an hour. I'm going to cinch my ruck now. I say, all right, follow me. If you can't make it, I'll get there.
Yeah.
I'll complete the mission or whatever.
Yeah.
So being that gray man, I think, and plus, if you're the gray man, you can also conserve your energy.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys don't understand that. Just like I went to range school, guys don't understand that. You got these young privates, man. They tell you, hey, run over to the child to get child. Dude, they sprint all the way to the child.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why don't we all just jog there as a group? And we're a team.
Yeah. Because, shoot, when I was, back at Fort Riley as a, platoon sergeant, I would always tell my guys, like, you're as strong as your weakest link.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah.
you could run 5-minute miles,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? But if, private such and such is running 8-minute miles, guess what?
You can't leave him.
That's how fast you are.
That's how fast we are.
You know what I mean?
That's it.
You either work to get private such and such to a 5-minute mile,
Yep.
or you dial it back. Because when we go to combat, and we're running and gunning, you're not gonna take off and leave everybody else behind,
Nope.
right? Like we all got to maneuver together.
That's it.
Yeah. So that's amazing. So you went through the second time, no issues.
Second time, no issues.
Yeah.
Got selected.
How was that ceremony for you?
It was good, man. But again, bro, I didn't know and this is the God honest truth. I know this sounds terrible, but I'll say it now. I didn't really know what a Green Beret was till I was in group for about 2-3 years, man. I'm dead serious, bro. I'm like, hey, I know we walk around Fort Bragg and people
Yeah.
like, man, them guys badasses right there.
Yeah.
But because it was a Cold War, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nothing was going on. It was peacetime.
Yeah.
Guys out all there scared me badges, dude. But I still didn't know, dude. Like,
Yeah.
and then I like think my first JSET went to Africa, dude. Was like, yeah, we're to teach. I'm like, man, when we gonna start fighting? You know what I mean? Like, but there's no war going on. So
Yeah.
I didn't know. All I knew was we shot guns a lot, which I love to do. We worked out a lot. Guys stayed in shape, and I'm like, all right, dude. And people respected us.
Yeah.
But I didn't really know because Google wasn't out there at the time.
Yeah.
You kind of learn OJT. You learn while you're doing it.
Yeah.
I learned being a Bravo on the team.
Yeah.
I didn't learn that in the Q course. I
No,
learned weapons, but I didn't learn what a Bravo actually does on the team.
Yeah.
And so, for the first couple of years, bro, I still didn't, so when I went back, everybody at my unit was like, hey, congratulations, man, that's awesome. Your career's going to change, da-da-da-da-da. I'm sitting there, I have no clue what's going on. All right.
How old were you at this point?
Just turned 20 then.
Just turned 20.
I just turned 20.
That's an amazing accomplishment. Looking at it
20,
now,
looking
you know
at
what I
it
mean?
now, dude,
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit, dude, like I was basing an X-ray,
Yeah.
but I just didn't know what I was getting into.
Yeah.
How
was so you got picked up? How many guys got picked up? Was it 68? You mentioned?
Well, the last that second one,
The second time around, yeah.
I think only 43 guys got selected.
Damn, that's a
crazy.
small class.
Oh yeah. Well, we started with probably 300-400 dudes, man.
Yeah.
But and I don't like to say like people say, oh, range school is easy, it's harder here. SM selection is easy, harder here. I ain't gonna say it was easier or harder, but I think times has changed.
Yeah.
So you learn over time, how do we make the body hurt worse, or how do we hurt a guy physically but not break him?
Yeah.
Because back when I went through, dude, guys I watched a guy one time, I'll never forget it. We were in the barracks. He pulled his shoe off, and he had moleskin on the bottom of his shoe, his whole foot. I watched him pull it down a little bit. I was like, "Ooh, dude, that's gonna hurt, bro." And he's right across from me. He screwed me. He yanked it off. I'll never forget it. Pulled the whole moleskin off. He had some skin, some moleskin on his foot. Some skin, some moleskin. It was bleeding. Put his sock back on. Stuck it back in his boot. He wore that boot for 2 days, man.
Damn.
He was like, "Bro, I'm graduating." I was like, "Man, this dude gonna lose his foot, man."
This is at selection?
This is at selection. I was like, "This dude gonna lose his foot."
Yeah.
But he ended up graduating. I was like, "Man, that's crazy, man."
That's that determination.
And that's what it
Yeah.
was. But he had been there 3 times already.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
So he was determined, like, I'm gonna make it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna make it. He ended up making a Hispanic guy. I can't remember his name.
It's amazing what the mind does
Yeah.
once. Well, it's amazing what the body does once the mind says, "Hey, you will do this."
And that's what I tell people. Like when I don't want to point anybody out, but
Yeah.
like when I hear people talk about how hard they are. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
hard. I'm hard. You got to be hard. I'm sitting there like, first off, everybody's not a type A personality.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, your heart is not the same as my heart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like me, my heart. You tell me to go out and run for 5 days, I'll go run for 5 days.
Yeah.
You tell me to go, sit down and eat food for 10 days, I'll go eat for 10 days.
Yeah.
But when I lost my parents, dude, I was broke.
Yeah.
In my eyes, I'm the hardest person in the world. But when
Yeah.
my parents left me, dude, it was like, man, I crumbled, dude. Like,
Yeah.
it just tore me up, bro.
Yeah, we all have.
So hard is not a term that I think people should use lightly.
Yeah.
Go be hard. Why go be hard? Just do what you need to do and make sure you contribute and putting in for it the right foot, the left foot, and just keep moving forward.
Yeah, that's a good way to explain it.
You think about it, because I might be a runner, you might not be a runner.
Yeah, I'm a lifter.
There you go, you're a lifter, and that's
Yeah.
and I'm a lifter, I like to lift too. But that's the thing. What makes SFODA so dynamic?
Yeah,
is they're so diverse. You got one guy that, hey, this guy, like you just said, that's the strongest link is usually. I didn't even used to say it on my team. I used to always say our weakest link is our strongest guy.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, no, he ain't. I'm like, yeah, he is, dude. That weakest link right there, the slowest guy, the weakest guy, he is your strongest link. Because all of us got to revolve around him.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
And so, and his hard might not be my hard. So, at the end of the day, man, that's why I love the team life so much, is that dynamic, the diversity that you got on that team. You got some guys that can do, they can bench press 400 pounds, but running 3 miles kills him.
Yeah.
Okay, so as a team sergeant, you know the deal. If I got an SR mission, a guy's got to walk 10 miles, I'm probably putting that runner on it.
Yeah.
If I got a mission where guys got to go move boxes or move ammo crates or whatever, probably putting that lift on it.
Yep.
Then you learn your strengths and weaknesses of that team.
Yeah.
And that's how it rolls, man. So,
that's amazing. So you go through the Q course as an 18 Bravo. Did you have any issues getting through the Q course? How was that experience?
No issues whatsoever. Well, I didn't really have issues going through the Q course. Like I said, dude, I've never been a classroom guy.
Yeah.
The weapons, I was always intrigued by guns and stuff, so I was good there. Language school killed me. Didn't kill me, just that, dude, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm not in a classroom. So I started doing it outside, which was great.
Yeah.
But Q course is great, man. Met some great dudes, man. And again, the Q course physically, when I went through the Q course, I remember from 7 to about 9, 9:30, 10 o'clock, we did PT, man. You PT throughout the Q course.
Yeah.
And again, I excel at PT, so I got promoted in the Q course just because, I think I made E6 in 3 years and some change. Because they were like, hey, man, like I had the highest PT. I was either highest or close to the highest PT test in our class. So I basically went to the board while I was in the Q course or whatever. I got promoted there.
That's amazing.
I was like, man, physical. So the physical part really, honestly, like it paved the way for me. You know what I mean? Because that's what, group or the Green Berets, that's kind of what, we want guys to be fit.
Gotcha.
Guys want to be smart. We want guys that'll work as a team. So it just kind of paved my way, man. The Q course was good, man. It was crazy because when I went through the Q course, I had Chris Shaw in my class, Reggie Lane, and then Chris Shaw, Reggie Lane, and Terry Colors. I'm like 4 or 5 brothers that went through the class. So we kind of stuck together, and we were 3 of us was Bravos, and Terry Colors was the Echo.
Gotcha.
But when we was doing stuff, we was always hang out together or whatever.
Nice.
It was just cool to just, a couple of those guys, or Reggie's from Georgia, and then Chris Shaw was from Mississippi, and he actually got killed in first group guy. And we just stuck together, man. We studied together, get our study groups in, and we kind of rode each other, man, and stuck with each other, try to get through there. So
that's amazing. What language did you get?
Arabic.
You got Arabic and ended up a third group?
Dude, because we lost Caribbean, and then once we lost the Caribbeans or Caribbean, however you want to say it. When we lost that, we shifted all our focuses basically to like the Middle East now. Yeah. Because third group people didn't realize, bro. When I got to third group in '99, by 2000, bro, I was looking at going to 7th group. Yeah. Because they were looking at disbanding third group again. Because we were it was pretty much the ash and trash. Yeah. At third group when it was built, when it stood up. But, it was like, hey, where you guys want to go? Because at the time, military had no money. We were going to disband third group, make a 3-group wish list you want to go to. So I put 7th group, because we're still at Bragg. Yeah. I still be close to my parents. Now I put 5th group in Kentucky, because I know I still be close to my family. And I was like, fuck it, I'll go back to first group, because I like Seattle, Washington area, because they have the mountains. Huh. And then the war kicked off, bro, and that basically saved third group, man.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that third group was on the ban.
Dude, third group's hurting, bro. We go train in the backyard. You lost separate rides. You lost everything, man. Damn. Yeah, we were hurting bad.
So what year did you get to third group?
99.
99. Yep. Okay. How was that short stay prior to 9/11?
Well, when I first got to third group, man, it was, again, like I say, bro, I had no clue what was going on. I know I'm a Green Beret now. I kind of know. You're a Green Beret, don't really mean nothing, but you're kind of a badass, but you're not. But you think you are just because it's a hat, and people respect it, and rightfully so. But so I still didn't know what I was gotten myself into. Yeah. And then when our first JSET went to Africa, and that was good, man. But I remember getting the third group and it was like, man, this is a whole nother world.
Yeah.
A whole nother world, you know. Guys working out all the time, guys staying in shape. It was just totally different than the regular Army. And I tell people when people ask me, I look at group as being like any soft environment, whether you're a Ranger, a SEAL, you know, SF guy, a Marshal guy. I tell people, you're at the big show now. You're in the majors. So I tell people that in regular Army units, like say you're in the 82nd or whatever, you're playing, you know, single A baseball.
Yeah.
Well, once you go to like Rangers or whatever, now you moved up to double A, triple A. But once you go, you know, SEAL, Marshal, or SF, you're in the majors now.
Yeah.
You're in the major leagues. You got a contract.
Yeah.
You're getting paid to do big boy things.
Yeah. That's amazing, man.
And so I still like, but I didn't know though, bro. I didn't know, man. Jay, I didn't know, bro. I was like, man, I still don't know what I'm getting into. Dude. Like I say, 2-3 years in it, I'm like, okay, I kind of know what I'm doing now. You know, we can kind of walk around with our sleeves rolled up. You know, the hats kicked back. You know, breaking all the rules, just doing what we do. You know, and so. So
what happened at that 3-year mark? The big change that you started to realize, holy crap! Like I'm in the majors now, or yo, I'm in the NFL. Like as far as the military goes. For me, I would say between 3 to 5 years. Like I would say once we went to combat, you started realizing like, because when we went into combat, it was just us. Yeah. You have no regular Army units there. You know, it was soft guys. It was. Yeah, it was essentially like a guerrilla warfare. Yeah, that's all. Unconventional warfare. It was unconventional warfare at the time. So it was just us, and then you started like I got a little bit on a few JSS to Africa, Force 9/11. I started learning like, all right, I'm teaching tactics. All right, I'm teaching this. All right, I'm teaching that. Man, these guys are actually going to fight wars. Because one trip we went to Kenya, we were teaching Kenyans, Ugandans, and Tanzanians, and these guys were fighting in the Congo, telling us about, hey, you know, it was just a firefight. And I'm like, holy shit, man, these guys are actually fighting. Yeah. But at the time we weren't. We were in a Cold War, but we were training these guys to go fight. That's when it hit me like, hey, dude, you got to take this shit seriously because, you know, these guys are actually going to be taking these tactics that you're teaching them to go actually fight wars. Yeah. And so I'm a big bow hunter, so a lot of the tactics I would teach a lot of 7-8, but then I would teach people how to ambush an animal. Yeah. Because hunting a man is just like hunting an animal. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's no different. Yeah. But how do you beat that? You know, animals you beat in their noses. A man you're actually beating his more like his smaller senses, like his eyes, his ears, and then his commonality of the environment. Yeah. And so I was teaching, and I was just showing them like, hey, you know, people are just like animals. We're gonna walk that, you know, that less aggressive route. We're gonna travel that less aggressive route. Well, guess what? If you travel the more aggressive route to get there, he's 9 times 10, he'll never know you're there. Yeah. And they were like, holy. So then they started dawning on me, like, okay. And then a couple of deployments doing work in Afghans, and you know, some of the stuff we did, or some of the stuff I did at the beginning of the war was just out of control. So I was like, oh yeah, we're here. We're in the big show now. Yeah. Now, speaking about the war, 9/11 is just such a historic milestone in our nation's history. And between you and Mike, I think you guys were actually there in the military when it actually took place. Do you remember where you guys were as far as third group whenever 9/11 took place? Oh yeah, third group was running around. We was doing all kinds of, like I said, we was doing JSS, not a lot of JSS. We were doing JSS, and then guys they was talking on the streets about disbanding third group. But individually, my team, we were in Beta, Nevada, training the Beta, Nevada Border Patrol guys on small unit tactics, booby traps, and it was something else they wanted. I can't remember what it was. But I remember me and Troy Lettieri, we were doing the Bravos, and we were training basically all the small unit tactics stuff. Oh yeah, and they wanted combo training. Yeah. And so so that morning, September 11th, I will never get it, September 11th, 99, or 2001, I was running. I went for a run that morning. When I came back, all the guys were in the hotel room. We had a cheap little hotel. It was like a ranch-style hotel with the rooms on the outside. And when I was running back up the road, I see all these doors open. I'm like, why the hell the guys got the doors open? Because we had all our equipment with us, you know, like, close the doors or whatever. I remember looking in the room. Nobody's in this room. Nobody's in that room. I'm closing doors. I'm like, what the hell are these guys doing? And I walk in one room, and everybody's surrounded this one TV. And everybody's just looking at it. I'm like, hey, what the hell? And everybody's like, hey, shut up, man, shut up. What do you mean, shut up? What are y'all doing? He was like, hey, shut the fuck up. Yeah. Then I realized, like, all right, what are they watching, you know? And I'm thinking, like, some celebrity or something died. So I remember peeping over one of the guy's shoulders, and he was just showing the reel of the planes going into the Trade Center. I was like, is that real? And one of the guys was like, I don't think that's real, man, because we didn't know it. Yeah. And then the sat phone rang, man. I don't know if you get the Iridium ring. Yeah. And I remember looking at it, and then everybody sort of like looked at it, like, they looked back at the TV and looked at the phone and was like, ooh, you had a funky ass ring, like, whatever it was. I
remember looking, I was like, hey, anybody gonna answer that? So I jump over the bed, I'm like, hey, 08382, Sergeant Glenn speaking, Officer Ram. And he was like, man, he's like, hey, Johnny. I was like, hey, what's up, sir? He's like, hey, you guys watch the news? Like, yes, sir, we are. He's like, hey, don't get too comfortable. He said, hey, you guys are heading back to Bragg. There's a plane waiting for you at Nellis. He said, you got something right with? I said, I do now, sir. He gave me the telephone number. He's like, hey, go to Nellis. There's birds there waiting for you guys. Put your shit on it. We'll see you back at Bragg.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got back to Bragg, bro, and it was like, everybody was like spinning up. You know, the commanders was going to D.C. to get briefs, and everybody's just like, oh my God, dude, like, hey, we about to get it on, you know. I remember guys running down the hallway, woo, you know, yelling.
Celebrating.
They were celebrating, dude. I was like, what the hell? What's wrong with these idiots, man? They celebrating. I'm just trying to get home, man. I'm like, I'm going to go home. I want a strawberry pie. I'm like, don't make me eat strawberry pie, you know. And so I remember we came back. That was like I can't remember exactly what date it was, but I know it was close to a weekend. Yeah. I remember we took the weekend. I remember coming back after the weekend, and we had all these UPS trucks and FedEx. Well, it was all UPS because it was brown trucks. But I remember we just started getting boxes of equipment, dude. I was like, holy shit. It's just,
money started flowing at that point.
Money was just coming from everywhere, man. Boxes of equipment, guns, all that stuff just lined up in the hallways, man. It's high as the ceiling. Just boxes of guns, equipment, boots, just everything you could think of, man. It was in the company. So, and, you know, it's like, yeah, man, it done got real. Yeah. We're going to combat, we're going to war. And then, you know, teams just started, our teams, we had a good team, so we just kept doing what we normally do as a team, man.
How long did it take you guys from when the planes hit to where you guys were boots on the ground in Afghanistan?
Shit, I'd say 30 to 90 days maybe. Whew. But it was teams already, like, you know, a couple of teams are already flying into Kuwait, waiting in Kuwait to go to in Afghanistan. So
how was that experience, being the initial, I guess, being on the initial invasion?
It was good. And then we had the initial invasion of Iraq was on too. But Afghanistan was good, man, because it was good, but it's one of them things where you don't know, so people trying to figure it out. Yeah. Everybody's like, you know, whatever happened, you know, D plus 180 or D plus, well, we got D plus 45. Get your shit together and let's go. Yeah. And then, you know, you got the JAG guys trying. So it was like, I like to call it organized chaos, man. Everybody was going to the 4 wind. Yeah. Because nobody knew what the hell we were doing. Yeah. All they knew was, hey, man, we're going to war. We just don't know where we're going or what we're going to be doing, but we know we're going. Yeah. You know, get your orders in affair. You know, get your affairs in order. Mm-hmm. Everybody's trying to, you know, get the JAG stuff straightened out, get this straightened out, trying to fix stuff at home before we deploy, you know, because nobody knew how long we were going to be going. Yeah. All we knew we were deploying. So it was just organized chaos, right?
Yeah. So at that point, did you, I guess, you got a clear picture of, okay, this is what being a Green Beret is all about. I'm out here by myself, no conventional army. And
Well, once we got to Afghanistan, dude, you knew then, you're like, oh, yeah, this is what we trained for. Because I remember when we first landed in Afghanistan, dude, when we got there, I had my little Afghan force with me. Mm-hmm. And of course, being a Bravo, we had this little, which guys that went there already for us, like a PDSS, and set up spots where we were going. And basically, we look at a map, dude, we just started patrolling, you know, and then you started interacting with the locals and figuring out where the bad guys were and where the pockets of bad guys were. Yeah. Let's go find them. Let's go neutralize them. You know, pursue and punish. Yeah. Let's do what we need to do and expand our white space. And at the time, we wouldn't call it white space. It was just, honestly, bro, just running and gunning, man. We would literally just get on our trucks, man. Let's go find a firefight. Yeah. And let's go find some bad guys that want to fight, and let's do what we do. Yeah. And that's kind of what, and it ruined us in a sense, because I remember I had 9 Afghan guys for the first 2-3 months. I didn't even train those guys, man. Yeah. But those guys been fighting all their lives too. So they knew how to fight, just not our style of fighting. Mm-hmm. And then one day I was like, man, we might need to train these dudes, man. Yeah. So me and Troy, we started training these guys just on, you know, like, hey, lift and shift when we're doing an ambush or something, because they would just shoot. Like, hey, dude, you're shooting everything, everybody. You got to stop. Hey, look here. When we say whatever our words were, lift the ship, you got to lift the ship. When we say ceasefire, stop shooting, you know. And so it was like, any Jag watching it, dude, probably been arrested. It was like, damn. But it was a good time, man. Then once we got those guys trained up, bro, then we started realizing, like, all right, which, you know, going back and looking at it now, hindsight 50-50, we messed a lot of that up. Yeah. We as in, you know, American, we as in the military, we as Green Berets soft, for sure, because, you know, it's like anything else. You've been training your whole life for the Super Bowl. Yeah. Well, if you get the Super Bowl, you won't get in the game. Yeah. So once we got to the Super Bowl, bro, and we got in the game, we wanted to be up front. We wanted to be leading those raids. We wanted to be leading those ambushes. Yeah. We wanted to be Selena led. We wanted to be fighting for our country. But what we should have been doing is by with and through.
Yeah.
Training these guys to do what we were doing so that we could have pulled out of that country before 2 decades. So.
Yeah, because eventually we started doing that with the VSO and all of that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And then I don't know why we moved away from that TTP, because then VSO went away and we went right back to what we were doing in the early stages.
And we took a step back.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, and this is what I used to tell guys, at the end of the day, because I put in my Delta packet.
Yeah.
And I was going to go do that, and then September 11 hit, and I was like, I never looked back just because we were doing good stuff.
Yeah.
But I tell guys, if you want to go kick doors and shoot people in the face 24/7 every day of the week, then there's organizations that do that. Go find those guys. I said, but for us, we're by, with, and through. We're force multipliers.
Yeah.
And when I look at what I did once we realized, like probably my 4th, 5th trip, when you get a company of Afghans, you train those guys up. What you can do with those guys is amazing.
Yeah, there's a sense of pride there.
It's a pride there, yeah. And then what they can do, you're like, holy Christ, man! Like I got my minions, and I'm not calling them minions, but I got my minions that if I want to go take on a compound of Taliban, I got my minions that I train that can do it. Let's go get it.
And their level of training.
Oh, yeah,
you know their flaws. You know their weaknesses. You can
know their strengths.
Yeah,
it's just like on a team. You play their strengths, you play their weakness. So my guys don't have to be hard; they have to be smart.
Yeah.
So now we just play their weaknesses, play their strengths. Yeah. I think we started saying that, be smart.
Yeah. How many deployments do you have total throughout the span of your career?
Ooh, I have 10 combat. I have 10 to Afghanistan, 2 to Iraq, including invasion. And then throughout Africa and Europe, dude, I have no idea, bro.
Okay.
But I know I sat down and did it one time. I think I had 9 years
of combat time.
Yeah, combat and deployment time.
Damn. Yeah, last time I'm at 72 months, which is just 6 or 7 years. But then you also have a couple of years on me as far as military.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now, knowing what you know now, seeing how your career had progressed, would you have changed anything if you had a time machine and you can travel back to time to tweak your career?
No, as far as my career, I wouldn't change anything. A couple of incidents where guys got killed or guys got hurt, I would definitely want to change that. But as far as my career, bro, I wouldn't have changed nothing about it, man. Just because, a lot of people can say they did, 20 years in a group. Yeah. All on the ODA. A lot of people can't say that.
I can't. I went to SWIC a couple of times.
Yeah, one time I left the ODA, I went to Safari, dude, which I consider that being on the ODA.
Yeah.
Because I had great guys out there. We shot every day. We stayed training. So at the end of the day, man, it's like I had a great career, man. Yeah. I had a phenomenal career. I had great leadership. Always got after it. I kind of, Johnny Glenn, I know people say it all the time. I kind of but back then in group, you can kind of pave your own way, dude. If you were squared away and guys, liked you, had a great reputation, you paved that way of what you wanted to do, man. A lot of jealous envy, though. Yeah. Or, professional envy out there. But as long as you can avoid, like doing stupid stuff. Like I did a lot of stupid shit, but it was stuff that, going to range school without orders. Stuff like that ain't going to get you fired.
Let's talk about that.
Get you cutting some grass, but it ain't get you damn fired,
Let's talk about that one, because I saw a podcast you did, and I'm sitting there and I'm listening. I'm like, man, if I was this dude Team Sergeant, I would fucking crush it.
But you wouldn't know, because you think about the Team Sergeant like, that's my guy, that's my dude, what's up, because
I was like, man, like this. Like when I say crush, I mean maybe have you doing like extra shit,
exactly.
But definitely let everybody else in the team know, like, hey, this is not the norm.
It's not.
But why don't you go into that story and tell us exactly what took place and what made you decide to just up and go like that?
So basically, man, I've been telling my team when I first got the group. This is in '99. When I first got there, like, hey, I want to go to range school. I'm going to go to range school. Well, dude, what got me was there was guys going to range school 1, 2, 3 times, not making it, or they would go down and quit. Yeah, like literally, guys go down and be like, "Man, that range school stupid. I'm Green Beret. I ain't going there. It's stupid. I ain't doing that." And so for me, I started getting like impatient. Like, all right, dude, y'all sending these cats that don't even want to go down there, or they felon. Yeah, I ain't felon if I go there. You know what I mean? Felon just ain't in me, dude. Like I'll get hurt or whatever, but I'm not felon. And so basically, man, I just had enough, dude. Like I'm going. And then we actually deployed to Kuwait on a JSET to train the Kuwaiti Emery Guard and some of the Jordan Special Forces guys. And we were only supposed to be there, I think, 3 months, like 90 days. Yeah. Then we ended up staying there like 120, 130 days, man. Jeez. Yeah, it's crazy. And so basically we got all this time off when we got back. And I think me and Troy stayed with the guns coming back or whatever. And just basically when I got back, man, we had all this extra time because the team got back before us. So they had already been back 3 weeks to a month. Yeah. We're basically in Kuwait just hanging out, working out, doing our thing, working out every day, eating, getting swole, working out, staying in shape. I was like, dude, when I get back, I'm going to range school.
Yeah.
So as soon as I got back, bro, I was like, hey, you know what, man, I got time. You know, range school's only 63 days long. I got at least 45 days of leave, and then I got another 15 days. That's 60 right there. I'm like, oh, yeah, man, I'm going to range school for 3 days. My boy can cover me for that.
Yeah.
And we had the perfect plan, dude, until I ended up getting a hotel room. If I only got the hotel room, dude, which is good I did, because then the story became a real good story. But
yeah.
Because if I only got the hotel room, honestly, dude, only way they'd have found out I went to range school is that they would have got the orders.
Yeah.
And then somebody's been like, who told you to go to range school? You know?
Yeah.
But then it wouldn't have been as good. But what made the story so good was I went and got a hotel room off my government credit card.
Yeah.
It was either $62 or $63. It wasn't that much, $67 or $57. Wasn't that much, dude. Right there on Victory Drive, bro, and got me a hotel room, and some kid had been misusing his credit card. I think he built a shed or something. Yeah. So the commander was getting his ass handed to him about credit cards being late, delinquent. And that's basically how they caught me, dude, because my shit came with 30 days. If it was 2 weeks late, 15 days late, you got a letter, a personal letter.
Yeah.
30 days late, you got a letter, and the commander got a letter. 45 days late, dude, it's going to command in the group command, and everybody in chain of command, you know, getting involved.
And the thing with these government freaking credit cards, which if you guys don't understand, as you know, special forces operators, we get a GPC card, or not a GPC card.
It's just a bank. Well, back then it was a Bank of America.
Yeah. It's just a government credit card that we can use for when we travel on official orders.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what the balance is. If you're late and you have a $1 charge on that card, everybody's getting notified.
Everybody's getting notified.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's 50 cents, if it's $100, it doesn't matter. Somebody's hey, this dude needs to pay his 50 cents right now.
But as long as guys are doing the right thing and paying it, you can go. You probably can miss a month and they'll be like, all right, they're good, they'll take care of it. But yeah, man, that kid had messed up, man, and so now the commander's getting in trouble for it. So now he's like, all right, I gotta ream everybody else because I'm getting reamed, and he's doing his job, and that's how I got caught, man. And once they found out about,
how did you even get into Ranger School?
Dude, it was Special Williams. I won't ever forget this kid. Made me some orders, and back then everything was Microsoft Office Word.
Yeah,
and I'm not a computer guy. I hate computers. I hate technology, and so I went and told him, hey man, hook me up some Range Rover. He's like, you on the OML? I was like, hell no, I ain't on the OML. That's why I'm talking to you quietly. He's like, damn, dude.
What? I can whisper. You think
I'm like, why do you think I'm whispering right now, dude? He's like, all right. He's like, Johnny, I got you. He's like, all right, cool. Because at the time I didn't have a JMFG.
Yeah.
It was just Johnny Glenn here. Everybody was like, hey, Johnny Glenn. Everybody said my name, my full name, Johnny Glenn. Yeah. He's like, Johnny Glenn, I got you. I was like, all right, cool. Well, this kid, man, he actually had got into it with one of the team guys one time, and I was up in the office, and I told the guys, I told the team guy, hey man, this guy's supporting you, it ain't the other way around.
Yeah.
And the kid he always liked me from that point because I kind of stood up for him.
Yeah.
And so he's like, all right, John, I got you, man, I got you. He's like, come back up this afternoon. He basically, man, just took some old orders, put my name on them, changed the date, left the order numbers the same just because it's order numbers.
Yeah.
And dude, that's how I went down there, man. I went down there, got down to range school, I'll never forget. And that night at the hotel, I'm gonna cut my hair tonight because on the thing it says, get a haircut, yada yada. Yeah. So I took the lowest I took my clippers, let them all the way down. I skipped my head as low as I could, bro. Yeah. But I still had a fade. Yeah. And you could see it, like you stared at it, you could see it, but the eyes was looking for something. Yeah. And Ranger Thompson, I put this out on every podcast, everything I talk about, anytime I share this story. Ranger Thompson, if you out there, you see this dude, get in touch with me. Please get in touch with me. Yeah. Because he's one of the reasons I got to Ranger School, man, honestly. He's a tall, slender guy, man, good looking dude, just squared away dude, man. And he came walking over. I was the last guy they called on because you're in a big group at Ranger School and they start calling you off. You carry your duffel bags across the little parade field there. And then I was the last guy standing there. He walk over there. He goes, let me see your orders, Ranger. He snaps my orders. He's looking at them. And then he looked up. He goes,